Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm finally going to be bringing you my little hot or not review of the Burt's Bees makeup collection. I feel like I definitely missed that bandwagon, but I actually haven't heard too much about it like to this day. I've heard a lot of the, conventional beauty bloggers speak about it, and I think they actually had a decent response to it. They didn't hate it all, which makes me feel good, big ups for the green beauty community here. But it definitely is difficult to find makeup that is natural and gives you like high glamour, because a lot of the conventional things, the pigments are there, they're crazy. You have these crazy glitters, crazy formulas that just don't really exist in the natural beauty space, but I'm here to show you. You can achieve quite a glamorous look, and a pair of false lashes never goes amiss. That makes everything look much, much nicer. But anyway, I think I have just about everything from the line, excluding the eyebrow pencils. I'm going to talk you a little bit through the application process, how I've been enjoying these products, because I have been trying them for a very, very long time. This review is so past due, but let's just get straight into it. So let's start with foundation. This is the Burt's Bees Goodness Glows Liquid Makeup. I have the shade Natural Beige. I believe there are 12 or 13 shades, and this does retail for $17. Just kind of like, that's not really drugstore, ma. I can find a lot of foundations at that price. However, I was still excited about it because most of my favorite foundations are in the much more luxury price range. So it's something I was really curious to try. Also, I actually picked this up at CVS. Many of CVS's carry them. My local one actually did, which I couldn't believe. They were like putting up the display when I went in there a couple months ago. And I bought like mints or something, or I don't know. Oh no, I bought the Physicians Formula product. That's what I bought, and I already did a video on that, so I'll put that down below. Then a coupon came out for like 10 bucks off like your $15 purchase, or like 40% off. That's what it was. It was 40% off. And so I went back and I got the foundation, and I got a lipstick as well, I think. But anyway, I got it for significantly cheaper. So if you can find a CVS coupon, use that. Oh my God, was that long-winded and a terrible story. Little fun fact about me, I'm terrible at telling stories, so yippee-ki-yay. Anyway, on to the foundation and the application here. What is really nice about it is a glass bottle. I think that's always great to find at the drugstore, and it does have a pump, which is amazing. So I just pumped 2 drops of this on the back of my hand, and I just dot it all over the skin, and I actually blended this in with my little beauty sponge. This is from Terry Miyahira. She came out with a fabulous beauty sponge. I love this one, and I love the Hint Beauty one. I would say they're pretty interchangeable. I don't know how much this runs on its own, but if you got it in the subscription box, use it. And I sort of bopped it around the skin. It blends out really, really nicely. I forgot how much I love this foundation. It does give a very natural skin-like finish. Though it's supposed to be a glowy type of makeup, I don't think it's overly glowy, but I do think it is impeccably skin type. I think it holds up well throughout the day. It doesn't get blotchy, patchy, spotty, wears incredibly evenly as well. I do wear this with primer. I've been really into the 100% Pure Luminous primer, so I couldn't really tell you wear time without, but a good primer will never go amiss in my book, or a little glycerin spritzed over the face. So I'm actually a big, big fan of the foundation, and I am gonna put it back in the top shelf because since I had it away, I wasn't using it very frequently, but it's beautiful. So Burt's Bees, the only thing I feel like about the range that's a little bit incomplete, I'm hoping that these are products, it'll be a very well-rounded line in time. So there's no concealer, there's no bronzer. So I did that on my own. Then I went in with this mattifying powder foundation with Bamboo. I got this in the shade Vanilla. It's just way too pale for me, so I can't wear it all over the skin. The texture of it does feel really buttery, soft, and smooth. When I put it on the back of my hand, it looks quite nice. Coverage seems okay. I think it would be more of a good supplemental powder. Maybe put it on top of the Goodness Glows foundation, because by the way, I would say this has maybe like on the lighter end of a medium coverage, or like a good medium built up. I put quite a heavy hand with my foundation, I'm not going to lie to you, but it's very, very natural, but still a little bit of my redness was peeking through. So I just went in with this in a little contour brush. It does have the little honeycomb sponge that goes with it, which is kind of nice for touching up on the go. And I cleaned up my contour, and the color is actually really nice for that. Anywhere I want a little bit of brightening, I did add a touch right here to the center of my face where that redness was still peeking through. Covered it up really, really nice. Looks impossibly skin-like as well. And I do think it's an okay product. I'm not dying for it. I still prefer translucent powders and things like that. But if you want something to set the foundation up the coverage a lot, this might be one to look into. This retails for, let's see how much this one runs for. And it's supposed to be mattifying, but I do think the texture of it, I do think it's mattifying, but I don't think it's like a hard, you know, stiff matte. This is also $17, which I think is quite steep, but I guess because it's meant to be used alone. And this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shades. So, you know, the shade range leaves a lot to be desired per usual. Moving along, something that I really do love, in contrast to the powder, is the blush. Probably one of my favorite items. This is the shade Bare Peach. This retails for $9.99, so the $10 mark is not the cheapest, but you are getting a decent amount of product in here. You are getting 5.38 grams worth of product. It's pressed, hello. And what I will say about the pressed products in this line that I appreciate is that the fallout is incredibly minimal, which I think is really nice. So this comes in 2 other shades. Again, I wish there were more, but I love the shade Bare Peach. I put it on with my Real Techniques Instapop blush brush. It's not patchy. The color is beautiful and warm and even. Doesn't cling to anything on the skin, which is very interesting because to the touch, it's really rough. And I was kind of like, ooh, I don't know about all of that, but it really builds up nicely. Pigment is really beautiful on it as well. And the wear time on it is exceptional, to be quite honest with you. Let's go on to eyes now. So that's really it in the way of skincare products. Just base products really. Like I said, they do have an eyebrow pencil. I didn't see that, and I don't think it was live on the website when I bought this stuff. I think it's like newer. But Tati, I think, liked the pencil. So I'll leave her review down below as well so you can check that out. But let's get right into eyeshadows. They have these little eyeshadow trios, which I think are really cute. These retail for $12.99, again, on the more expensive side, and it does come in 4 colorways. I have 2 colorways right here. I have these shades Countryside Lavender, which is the purple one, as the name would suggest. And I do also have the eyeshadow trio in Dusky Woods, which is the more neutral one. They do have a more warm one that I think I would prefer, but we're just gonna talk about formula today. So I am wearing both of these on my eyes today, more or less a little bit. My biggest problem with these products is not the formulation of them, it's the fact that they feel incomplete. I feel like you sort of have a brow bone shade, a lid shade, and then an outer V shade. I wish there was a transition shade, something you can run really quick and easy into the crease that we could wear, but there's just not. So I threw in my own transition color, but first I did go in with just a big flat fluffy brush, and I took the shade from the purple palette. I prefer the shade a little bit more. They're both matte, both have really minimal fallout, and I think it gets the job done. Pigment's okay. It's not crazy pigmented, but I don't really like those shades to be, because I'm not really blocking out the lid. I just want something to help diffuse color. So it does that really nicely. From there, once I put my crease shade in, I did deepen it up a little bit with the dark brown shade in the Dusky Woods trio. And I think this is nice. This color is not crazy pigmented. So for those of you who like a more subtle look, you could definitely work with this. With the pigmentation, I do think you could use it as a crease shade. I just wish I had something like a hair lighter than that for the crease. So like I said, I did use this to deepen it up. I think it blends out really nicely, which I appreciate, but I do wish the pigment was a little bit more there. I could say the same for the purple here as well, because I did take the purple just underneath the lash line. I will say the purple is definitely more pigmented, blends just as nice as well. And what I appreciate about the purple is that upon swatching, it's not the best, but underneath the eye, it doesn't look patchy at all. I think the color is really pretty, and it is nice and dark. So if you're not a big fan of color, I don't think you should fear Countryside Lavender as well, because again, that's what I'm wearing. And then after that, I did take the center shade in the Dusky Woods palette. I tried to use as many colors as I could, and I took that across the lid. And of course, the more metallic shades or the shimmering shades, those are really easy to do in Green Beauty or just any formula ever. So the pigment on those is nice, but I did want to show you how it looks with just applied with the finger and dry. It's okay. It's getting the job done. Is it like blowing my mind? No, it's not. But when you go in, wet your brush a little bit, you do get a lot more color payoff. You do get a lot more of that reflection. Again, it's still incredibly subdued, so keep that in mind. The same goes for this shade here, which I also took this wet and I just went right on top of the lower lash line, just to sort of brighten up that purple just a little bit. And I didn't really notice that one quite as much, but I did use a much lighter hand when I used it. So I've used this. And she breaks it. Yeah. And the crowd goes wild. Okay, they're withstanding to dropping. So if you're clumsy, this might be the trio for you. But anyways, enough rambling. My final thoughts on the eyeshadow palettes are that they're nice, but it's definitely for the more faint of heart in the eyeshadow world. They blend nice. Are they the most pigmented? No, especially when you swatch them with the finger. But again, very subdued, and you can't achieve the eye look that I'm wearing today with them. So moving on to eyeliners, they do have 3 shades. These retail for 10 bucks, which I think is a fair price point, especially when you look at some of my favorite eyeliners, like the Antonym one. I really like a lot. And it comes in 3 shades, which I think is kind of cool. Soft black, which is not very soft. Midnight gray, which I don't have. I'm not really a gray person, but I think that's a nice option in the line. You don't see a lot of that. And then also warm brown, which I don't think is very warm. However, it is the shade that I'm wearing on my eyes today, both in the waterline and right on top. What I think is really nice about these is that their texture, I think, is really nice. Again, are these gonna last all day in the waterline? No, no natural eyeliners. They're just not. You need that really bulletproof, like Marc Jacobs, like shellac type of liner for it really to last all day in there. But the texture of them, like I said, is so nice. They're almost powdery, like a kajal, but they're not overly creamy, and the pigment is completely there. So I really appreciate that about them. I did just take the warm brown on the top lash line, smudge it, I mean the ever tiniest little bit, and then I am wearing it in the waterline as well, which I think give a nice amount of definition, you know, while it lasts. Or these like groundbreaking revolutionary eyeliners? No, but I do think they're really nice. And again, if you have a coupon at CVS or you want to try a new liner, this might be one to try, especially if you like wearing it on the top lash line. I think they're particularly nice. Then we have mascara. This is the Burt'S Nourishing Mascara. I actually have the shade Black Brown. I don't know what other shades it comes in. I think just regular black. But I wanted to try the black brown option. So it is very hard to tell that it is brown. It is ever so slightly softer. It's one of those really dark browns. And the brush on it looks something like this. So it's nice because it's full, but it's also plastic. So plastic brushes, in my opinion, are instantly gonna give more length to the eyelashes. I think this definitely does a better job at length and volume, but I am wearing it today. You know, it's nice. Is it stealing the place of any of my current favorites? No, it's not. The mascara does also retail for $10, which I think is a very fair price as well. I think it wears okay. 2, I don't really have any issues with the smudging underneath or on top, any sort of transferring, which is very nice. And it builds on itself pretty okay. I think it's a very good, solid mascara. If it's one that, you know, you haven't found one that you like, you don't like my favorite Hint Beauty, you don't like the classic Lily Lolo, maybe this is one to look into. Maybe you need a more plasticky wand. Maybe that's more for you. This is a really great one. And like I said, I do think it does a little bit better of a job at length than volume, but overall, I like how my lashes look. I do wish I had the black one though, because I think that's what I'm craving when I'm looking in the mirror, is that nice, rich color. Now let's round it off with some lip products. They have 2 different formulas. They have the glossy and they have the satin lipsticks. I will say the satin, they're pretty sheer and they're pretty glossy and buildable as well. I have 4 different shades. I wanted to make sure I get some nudes, some in-betweens, and I even grabbed a bold lip that I'll probably never wear for you guys, just so we can see how the color applies. I do think it's really important to not just try the nude shades, because I think the nude shades in any line are usually the ones that are more successful. They're just a little bit easier to pull off. So one of the glossy ones I have is the shade Nude Mist. And Nude Mist I think is nice. It's a little chunky, I think. It's not the most smooth lipstick I've ever tried. However, I don't think the color really suits me. So this is one I'll probably just be wearing in the center. Nice high shine finish. The finish of them sort of reminds me of the Hint Beauty Aria lipsticks, but with less pigment. And that's sort of how they feel on the mouth to me as well. Sort of comparable, but not exactly the same. Moving along to the shade I have on my mouth today. This is the more mid-tone one. This is the shade Sunset Cruise. And I think this is one of the satin lipsticks. Yes, it is. But you'll see when I mean, you can see right now, it's the only difference I'm really seeing between the two is that the satin lipsticks have more rich color, and even then it is still incredibly buildable, which I appreciate that in a lipstick, unless I'm trying to go bold. On the more nude shades, I don't mind it at all. I think it makes for a more easy reapplication as well. Are these very long wearing on the mouth? No, they are not. So don't be looking for that here, but they are quick and easy to throw in the purse. And I am actually really loving the shade Sunset Cruise. Definitely my favorite of the ones I picked up. Then we have another glossy one. This is the shade 518 Blush Ripple. And Blush Ripple, she's cute. She's more of just a reddish pink. I do think it looks a little bit more colorful on the mouth than it does in the swatch here. It is very similar to Sunset Cruise, maybe a little peachier. Maybe a little peachier. I don't think you need both of the shades, to be honest with you. If you prefer the glossy formula, go with this. If you want a little bit more pigment, a little bit more opacity overall, then go with the Sunset Cruise lipstick. Finally, this is the dark one that I grabbed to share with you guys. This again is one of the satin formulations, I think. It doesn't have the sticker on it, but I'm almost sure. And this is in the shade Orchid Ocean. And this is like a dark, deep, dark purple. Oh boy. When you swatch it, you're like, okay, that's not half bad at all. It is like really, really glossy though. I would not categorize this as a satin at all. The color is buildable, so if you do one pass, it's not as pigmented as a few passes, as you can see right there. But I think you need a lip liner for this, so I think it's a little bit hard work. I think it's a little bit patchy when you put it on the mouth. If you are just diehard for this lipstick formulation, you're familiar with it, because I do think Burt's Bees has had lipstick out the longest. I think they just brought out more colors. And then I mean, go for it, but you're definitely gonna need a lip liner. It bleeds, it sort of smears everywhere. Definitely not one I'm interested in wearing again. And since it is a purple, purples are hard to formulate. It is sort of patchy. I can't lie to you guys. But anyways, that is it. That is the Burt's Bees roundup. That is everything excluding the eyebrow pencils and, you know, skincare and stuff like that. I do think they have some more recent skincare drops if you guys want to hear about my opinions, but I'm going to quickly run through stuff I would repurchase so you know what sort of are my stamps of approval. My favorites definitely have to be the Goodness Glows foundation. I really, really like it, especially for that price, especially when you can get it on a deal. The shade Natural Beige matches me pretty nice. Maybe it's a tiny bit too pale for me right now, but you know, nothing I'm really worried about. The blush in the shade Bare Peach, I just love it. I think it's great. Would be interested in picking up the other shades, but I think I saw them in person and I wasn't like blown away. There's a more pinky option, a more nude option. The usual eyeshadow trios I could probably live without. Eyeliners I could probably live without unless you want something to smudge. I think it's a really, really great price point. Mascara, you know my feelings on it. Not drop dead, but sort of use your judgment. And then I actually really do like the lipstick in Sunset Cruise. How much are the lipsticks running again? Lipsticks are going for $9. So for that price point, you know, I think they're okay. I do like some of the Silk Naturals formulations a little bit more, but if there's a color you have to have, it's not so bad. I would maybe steer clear of the more rich, deep, dark shades though. So that's it, you guys. That's my feelings on Burt's Bees. I will link whatever I can down below. I did purchase a lot of these products in like a box that came with like some brushes and a mirror and a makeup bag, and it was like a really amazing value, even if I never used any of the other stuff, which I don't really use the other stuff, by the way. If I could track that down, I'll link it down below, but it was quite some time ago. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you finally liked hearing my thoughts and feelings on Burt's Bees. If there's anything you love and adore, do let me know, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Catch me at Green Bunny Video if you haven't already on Instagram, and now I'll really see you in my next video. Bye.